You went to college but didn't want to go to college.
Yeah. So during this time period where I'm in school, I'm like graduating high school. My father passed away that year, 2005, and a lot of my friends, I was just running around with like some different folks, you know what I mean?
Right.
We were just getting into different things outside, you know.
And you saw a lot of people die on that side.
Yeah. You know, you lose a lot of different people.
Yeah.
A lot of different people get arrested, going to jail, things of that nature. And I just remember I used to get high a lot around that time period and like do a lot of different things. And like, it just wasn't in my mindset to go to college. It sounded like you stayed lit. Yeah.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Well, that's good, you know.
What I mean? So it was just a time period where it was just like, I just wasn't really thinking about college. Mm-hmm. And my mother, I think maybe my sister might have taught her how to burn CDs or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And one day I was out and my mom went downstairs and she made a copy of like 3 freestyles. Like one was definitely over like a Biggie beat, like Everyday Struggle or something like that. And they went and played it for University of Arts, which is like one of like the top music schools like in the country.
Uh-huh.
And they ended up giving me like a presidential scholarship.
Wow.
You know what I mean? To go to the school, and it was just so kind of crazy because it's like it was the last thing I was thinking about.
You're like, I don't want to go to school. That happened to me.
Really?
The same thing. I promise you. I did not want to go to college because I felt like I shouldn't get into it, but I didn't want to go to college. Just put it that way. I was working at a radio station in Houston, and I thought, I'm at a radio station. Nothing can be greater in my life. Why would I go to college?
Yeah.
And I ended up with a presidential scholarship, and they called me at work. My mom called me at work and was like, hey, this school, Bennett College, is giving you a full 4-year scholarship. I was like, oh no, I'm cool, I'm good. I'm at the radio station, we straight.
Yeah.
And my grandmother literally bought me a plane ticket, and gave my mama some money to give me some clothes, and was like, she's getting on the plane.
Shouts to grandma.
And that's what I did. I had to get on the plane because they was like, no, you're going to college.
Right.
And but it was not in my cards either, so we have that in common for sure.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Did you finish college?
No. So.
We don't have that in common. When I start something, I finish it.
So look, this is what happened. I was in UArts, and like I said, I went through my first year, and my feeling was just I didn't understand it at that point. You know what I mean? Because I'm there, and I'm like, I rap, I got the best verses. Like, where they gonna put me at? They didn't have like a rap category. They put me in like multimedia. So I'm in there and I have certain classes and I'm like drawing squares and stuff, and I'm just like, all right, I just want to go back to the block. And it's so crazy because then fast forward, I find myself like in a place where it's like I'm doing graphic design,
right?
You know what I mean, like freelance and things of that nature. So it's like, they was actually putting me on the right path.
Right.
So during that time period, I had also like, it was crazy. Like I had got in a basically like a case of like mistaken identity. Me and a couple of my friends were like hotboxing in the wheel, and we got arrested, picked up by the cops, and they fast forward, you know, they went to charge us with like with armed robbery. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I remember like being like on my way out, the 3 of us like after being in the precinct for like 24 hours and thinking like, all right, cool, yeah, I'm about to get R&R, we about to go to IHOP and have pancakes or something like that, because we had been high the whole time, you know, and then I get up there and they're just like, Mr. Cromwell, your bail is $50,000. You're being charged with, it was like 4 felonies and like 6 misdemeanors or something like that.
And all you was doing was hotboxing.
Yeah, but apparently they thought that I fit the description.
This was a when they see us.
I mean? Yeah, pretty much. And you know, I remember like my mom like helping me get like a black lawyer, and me going in there in the office and talking to him, and he was like, yeah, you might be in a scenario where you might be facing like 5 to 7 years. You know what I mean? Depending on how things going. Just by the grace of God, like the guy who pulled up and pointed us out, he never showed up to court. And my lawyer was able to push for a dismissal.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So he didn't show up like 3 times, and it was able to get wiped away.
So the case was dismissed because dude did not show up.
Exactly.
Because he felt that guilt in his spirit.
Yeah, I mean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I'd want to move to New York too.
Yeah. It was just so much going on in such a short time window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like from my father passing to like one of my friends had got shot up. It was a couple of them went to jail. This happened. You know what I mean? And
well, you do have a solid foundation to create music from. So I clearly see where Sunset comes from.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's what I'm saying. It took a while to put it together because it's like, you know, shit just kept happening.
Now you need the song about that hip.
Yeah, you know, I've been trying to figure that out, right? I'm trying to get something that's catchy that just makes sense.
It's cool to be hip. I don't know.
So do we make it do something with hip hop?
Yeah, hip hop. Yeah, because that hip had you hopping.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
So your music.
Right.
What made you focus in on it as opposed to going in an opposite direction, which is jail or dead or?
Yeah. I would say it's that one thing that always like kept me out of certain situations. So it's like, I had some friends that, some of my friends that I was working with specifically in music, that all of them were Ivy League students. You know what I mean? So like my friend like Raheem and Nana.
Raheem don't sound white though.
He's very, very smart. He went to university.
No,
No. These were like my black friends.
Oh, okay.
So I would have to like leave my neighborhood to go work on music with them. You know what I mean? So there's certain scenarios where like maybe if I was back in the neighborhood a day that something happened, it was like, okay, music got me out of here. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, I would never disrespect music. So that kind of pushed me in a direction of like, let me like take this to the full extent. You know what I mean? And then like one of my friends was living in New York City and he hit me and he was like, I just had this epiphany that like you were living up here in New York. And shit, I just told you everything that was happening. I was like, let's make this a reality. So I ended up like, at that point I was like working at Walmart because I had a girlfriend at the time who kind of, all of this was happening, and she was just like trying to point me in the right direction. Like, look at what's going on. You can't like be out here. You know what I mean? You have to get a job. But like, where am I gonna get a job at?
That's the chick
you know
want.
What I mean? So when I went to go work at Walmart, I'm like, can you please put me in the back? I don't want anyone to see me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when my friend called me, I ended up just like transferring my job. You know what I mean? Kind of like just leaving everything that was in Philly, sold my car, put that down on the first and last deposit on an apartment, and came up with like $800 and just. So I just got to figure it out from here.
You think it was a good move?
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm here right now. I just had a phone call before I got here, and like a couple of my friends, they like just came home from prison. You know what I mean? Just like from some longer bids, and it's just like, that's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel blessed to be traveling and doing the things that I love to do, and like all of this is like credited to music. And just making the right decisions, going down the right path at the fork in the road every time.
Well, Dot, what is your journey through this music thing? Like, what's a price you've had to pay to do this? To come up with this? Like, what makes you bring good vibes?
What's interesting is like, I was like just talking about this on my story today, and I woke up today with like a lot of anxious energy. And I was trying to figure out like, why do I feel this? Like, and I used to get it every now and then. And I think the reason being is because when you put so much time into something that you love, and you go through so much bullshit, and you're going through all these trials and tribulations, and then you're putting all your energy into something and not moving forward, it just kind of makes you angry. So for a while, I was just very angry, and I had to make a decision like, look, I'm not making any more dark music. I'm not making any more, I just want to enjoy my life, no pun intended. I just really wanted to make music that made me feel good.
So was it a specific moment where you went from, because what I'm hearing is that you at one time were doing dark music.
I did, yes. Yeah.
Was there a specific moment where you was like, that's it, I'm done, I can't no more?
I mean, during the journey, of course, like I had my like homeless stage, couch surfing, everything I owned was inside of a backpack.
How you homeless and you born and raised in LA? That always fascinates me.
You know what it is? I always like, me and my like family, they lived, like my mom lived all the way in the IE. And then my dad lived in LA. But at that time, it was a little difficult to live there because I have brother. It's like for me, I'd rather be on the street, figure it out, than to go back home and then show my siblings that like I did not make it.
You'd rather be homeless.
Yeah, I mean,
no roof
and it's
over
crazy
your
because
head.
it's crazy because I didn't like when my dad and like everyone found out like you didn't have a place to stay.
They didn't even know.
Well, we weren't really talking at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it was just kind of like.
So that's called pride.
It is. I have a lot of pride. Yeah, I have a lot of pride, and so does he. And so, but we worked it out. We're like closer than ever now. But I'm not homeless anymore, so.
Praise God. Woohoo! Enjoy your life. So I caught you off track a little bit. So you were telling me what was the moment that sent you in a different direction with your music?
I think it was just like everything around me was like stressful. Everything around me was dark. Everything around me was not like, and that energy just makes me, like my face, my whole aura was just not as good. And so I just got tired of it. It just wore me down. And as a kid, I was always like a happy kid. And so when I got out of high school and I started going through that transition of like, oh wait, this is real life. Like,
Right.
oh wait, like we're really out here trying to figure out where we're gonna eat. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I just think like a lot of it just like wore me down. And it was just like, I just made a decision like, you know what? I gotta make only positive music. It can't be this, you know, I don't really get that type of therapy through that. It wasn't helping me. It wasn't getting me out of the situation.
And that's interesting because most artists say that telling their tragic stories is what
the way
gives
to
them
get-
therapy.
Not for me.
And you're like, nah,
Not for me,
I
yeah.
need to put some happy energy in me
it's
and
not.
spill it out so it can continue to be around.
Exactly.
Me,
And
yeah.
it's interesting, like when I first, like the first shot that I got into music, I was working at this, like, I was doing a graveyard shift. So I was working at, I don't know if you know Crave Cafe?
Crave?
Yeah.
No, where is
so
it?
It's like,
Do they still have it?
yeah, it's still there.
Where is it?
It's on Ventura. It's like an all-night cafe.
Okay.
And so I was working there, and Afion Crockett came in, and I was like, oh, snap, that's Afion Crockett, what's it? And so we were talking, and I never told him I did music. I like kept it cool, I kept it chill, and then he would like come in like every week. And as the time would go, he was like, yo, and that table next to me was like, yo, Jared, you still doing music? And he was like, wait, you do music? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm gonna check you out. So I gave him like my Twitter, and that night he was like, yo, you're dope, man. Like, let me like introduce you to some people, and then that was the rest was history.
Shut it up.
Yeah.
Who did Afion Crockett introduce you to?
I met Sway, I met Russell Simmons. I mean, it's such a blur, but yeah, I met so many people. It's like, it's crazy too, because at the time I had nothing really crazy.
Like you didn't have
out.
this.
Yeah, no, it
Right.
wasn't that. It was the dark stuff. Yeah, it was the dark stuff. It was the dark stuff. So like, a lot
But
of people-
apparently your dark stuff was the shit too.
well, I think when they would hear me rap like that, they're like, this is not adding up. Like, you too light skinned to be doing like this. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that?
Right.
So I think also that too, like changing my music into like more happy stuff. It kind of made people go like, oh, I get it. I understand it. When I see you, when I feel you, I get it now. Before it was
Yeah.
kind of like, I didn't expect that to come out of you. And which
Yeah.
I used to think was a compliment, but it's not.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't moving me forward. Now it's like people are understanding it.
It's not a compliment. Because
No.
see, I was thinking, yeah, it is, but you're right, it's not.
It was. I mean, I think to them they thought it was, but if they really thought it was a compliment, maybe they would have helped me, right? You
I
know?
don't think they were thinking at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be thinking. I just like, hey, your music don't fit who you
Yeah,
are, dude.
that's cool. You
Because you all at the
contradiction.
crave going, hi, hey, can I
Yeah.
help you? Can I get
Yeah.
you another tea?
Yeah,
Hi, dude,
exactly.
Afion Crockett. And
Exactly.
then you rapping about,
Yeah, it
nigga
was-
feel bad.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work at all. Where do you see yourself 48 hours from today?
I'm actually shooting a video then, so I'll be shooting a music video
For one of your songs?
for one of my songs. Yeah.
Which one? Is it one we're going to hear
No,
today?
yeah, it hasn't came out yet. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Because, you
so-
know, I like the exclusives, Jared.
Yeah. Well, I
I
actually
wanna
just
tell
finished
you,
the
man.
album. It's called Enjoy the Disco. So if you haven't picked up yet, my favorite word is enjoy.
I'm down with it. I'm downloading your stuff.
Yeah, hey, get it. You can find it everywhere.
And when I'm in a good mood, I can pop it in, and when I'm in a bad mood, I can pop it in. That's the thing
Exactly.
about enjoy, like music that's positive and that speaks to your soul.
Exactly.
Yeah.